a variety of basil. Okay, so let's recap what we've done. The ones I planted over here have been right here at the front. So they've been getting a lot of afternoon sun that's not as filtered. So they've kind of been hardening off. So I went ahead and wanted to get those planted so I could move some of these trays to the door. The flowers have not been hardened off, but we're going to see how they do. I do have quite a few. So I've got some zinnias here, some marigolds, and I just kind of alternated marigold and zinnia kind of all the way down, and they are different varieties. So I have crackerjack marigold, and there's two others. I'd have to look in the greenhouse. And then I know I planted out queen lime red, giant white, giant lime, giant coral, and I think purple prince, and maybe canary yellow as far as the zinnias go. I just kind of picked from the back of the tray because they're all labeled, but I didn't want to take the time to label them, and those will kind of be obvious when they bloom. So tomatoes, this one's not wanting to stand up because it kind of has a crook in the stem. I'm going to go ahead and probably put the stake in on it tomorrow afternoon and get it tied up. But I'm just going to leave it alone for now because I've watered them in, and it kind of tilted really bad when I watered it, so it may stand back up. And I'll get all of these staked within the next few days because I don't want to put stakes in after the roots have started spreading really far because I don't want to damage roots. But what we have here is a spoon tomato, which is like a jelly bean size. This one's new to me. This one is the Sunrise Bumblebee, which is one of my favorites. And then a Zoyska, these two. These were not at the front, so they were not really hardened off. So we'll see how they do. But this is my favorite yellow. I have one pineapple, 3 Arkansas Travelers. I grew them last year. I was not thrilled with the produce, but they were on the shadier side of the garden. So we'll see, because this is the sunniest spot. And then I have 2 Cherokee Stripes. Two pork chops. 2 tie-dye Berkeley tie-dye green and 2 Berkeley tie-dye pink. And then, of course, more marigolds and zinnias along the back. And then all in the front, I did different varieties of basil. I didn't mark them. I have 2 holes that I can go back and do. But I have lettuce leaf, lime, holy basil, opal basil, and that may be all I brought out. Oh, and I think I brought out a sweet basil. I don't think I brought any of my Genovese basil out. So this whole line here is tomatoes, marigolds, zinnias, and basil. This one back here is a volunteer. I'm not sure what it is. It's probably a chocolate cherry. So I guess we'll just do a quick little tour because I'm fixing to rip out a lot of the spring garden. So we'll do a quick little tour. I don't really have anything else over here. That area, I'm almost finished prepping. I'll get that in this weekend and show you that. I did weed eat down here. I'm gonna have to redo my always. The grass is taking over. So the chickens got in here, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I ugly cried, but they got all my cabbage. So all this will come out. These were early spring flowers, so I will probably chop those off because they're bulbs and plant something around them. Lettuce is done. We got a ton of it. These are all volunteer tomatoes that I potted up when I mended the other side over there. So those will go back in. Chickens got these cabbage. These peas are still doing good. And I actually have some blooms. So I'm going to leave those in for a little bit. I'm going to leave these onions alone. The chickens did kind of smash them, but they didn't tear them up that bad. This garlic will probably be ready in a few weeks. I have already clipped some scapes off of it and froze those. The Brussels sprouts are doing fine. I'm shocked they didn't mess with them. We'll see how long they last. I've only had one semi-successful Brussels sprout during the springtime. This bed they pretty much destroyed. You can see a lot of broken onion tops. So I will probably get in here. Some of them still have the tops. They're just laid over really bad. So we'll see what happens. I may leave some of them. I'm going to pull a few of them. Like some of them, they just kind of pulled up, the little ones, which is a shame. But like, you know, there's a couple really big ones in here that still have the tops fairly up. I've got a few more scapes I need to pull. They didn't really mess with this garlic bed, so it's doing good. I need to come out here. There's a few more scapes I need to pull. They mutilated this bed. So I'm going to leave this one because they didn't get the head on it, and I think there's enough leaves left. And I'm going to leave this one because they didn't get the head. This broccoli, once they kind of ate the cabbage around it, it really kind of took off. But I'm not seeing a head on it, so I don't know what it's going to do. This is a couple of volunteer squash plants, so they're kind of in the weeds. They tore them up pretty good, but I don't think they killed it. They were scratching all around it. So we'll see what happens with that. So shockingly, they did not mess with the kale. They tore this one up. This one was all cabbage and broccoli and some collards and mustard greens. They ripped it up pretty good. So, I mean, like this head right here, I don't know if I'll try to leave that one or not. But I'm just going to go ahead and pull that out. Because they didn't leave much to that. I don't know, I might leave that one. We have a broccoli that's heading up here. This one I think will make it. Those I don't know about. I'll leave that one right there. And then I think I'm going to pull those two because they got squashed pretty good. That one's going to be okay. Some of the collard greens on the back are okay. The broccoli's okay. These on this, so this is that bed I just showed you. That one's gone. That one might be. All right, they damaged that head pretty bad, but there's still a core to it. They look bad. I may just pull all this so I can use that bed. They got in here and messed with some of my beets, but I pulled out the ones that they had scratched on, and then most of those need to be harvested. These peas did not do that well. I mean, there's some on here, but they're staying really flat. So we're not really enjoying those. So I think I'm just going to yank them out so I can go ahead and plant beans, because I have not been really impressed with that variety. It was little purple snow pea, and they're not purple. The blooms weren't really purple. So I think we're just going to yank those out. These were amazing until the chickens got in here. And they got in and were scratching all around here and just pulled them down. So, yeah, I'm going to harvest the rest. There's not really any blooms on them either. And I don't think this variety likes the heat. So, I mean, you can see, like, I don't know if this is bug damage or if the blooms are just falling off. I don't know. So I think I'm going to harvest what's left because these are really tasty. I mean, they're so sweet. And the carrots underneath are okay. I'm going to harvest what's left and pull them, go ahead and plant beans. All of this went to seed. This was that broccoli rabe. And, I mean, it's getting to the point where I'd be able to save seed for soon. But I have tried this for 3 years in a row and have yet to be able to grow it. It always bolts. So, I don't need the seeds. This broccoli's doing okay. These are, I believe, the Magnolia Blush. I don't see my marker. And the heat's starting to get to them. They did not do that well. They still have some blooms on them. I might leave them for this week because these are really good. But these are doing the best. I mean, look how tall they are. I mean, those aren't far behind. Radishes need to come out. They're ready. My spinach bolted on me before it did anything. I had celery all in here. And the chickens scratched it up. They did not mess with the parsley, though, or the chives. So there's like 2 celery left. So I'm going to clean this up, replant some celery because I still have a bunch. So I did weed eat today, but that's this side. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pull quite a few of the peas, at least on that second trellis. Just pull both sides. Go ahead and plant beans on it. Pull most of the cabbage, everything that got kind of broken. Maybe pull some of the onions in that middle section so I can put a tomato there. And beets. Just go ahead and really clean this out. So this is a quick tour of what I had. It would have been better had the chickens not destroyed quite a bit of it. I was waiting for the cabbage to head up a little bit better. And it was looking beautiful. I was going to weed eat and show you. And then disaster. Not seeing any signs of my potatoes coming up yet out here. But there are potatoes everywhere out there. So like 30 pounds of potatoes. So we'll see. Those have been in about a week. I need to water. I still have a ton of stuff in the greenhouse. A lot of this are my tomato plants that are going out in the garden. Like I said, I've been pulling them to the door to start to harden them off. And then some of them I have for sale for the farmer's market. A ton of flowers and cucumbers and basil. And more celery, which cucumbers will be going out this week. Squash and melons will be going out this week. Celery, flowers, basil. A lot of herbs I will find places for this week. So a lot of this will clear out. And what doesn't clear out, I will up hot and take to market. Because it really needs to get out of these trays. Got a fan going in here. There's some more tomatoes and eggplants and peppers up there. There's some peppers down here I need to up hot. So I still, despite the heat, I still have a lot going on in the greenhouse. But I've been keeping both doors open so the air goes through here and the fan pulls the air. So it hasn't been terrible. It's a little hot to work in here most days. But I think the plants, I mean, obviously they're doing all right. Some of the squash and stuff is getting a little sunburnt. But the cucumbers look good. So I need to throw some fertilizer in the water and get those out. But otherwise, we're still doing okay in here. But it is my mission this week and next week to get all of this out. Even things I'm going to take to the market, I'm going to move them out here once my workspace is cleaned up better. Man, the grass is just really taking over. So that's going to do it tonight. Thanks for planting tomatoes with me and taking a quick tour of the garden to see what we have going on right here at the 1st of June. And I will see you in the next one. Y'all have a great night. Bye.